Hello and welcome back to Rage Gaming. Welcome to Torchlight Infinite. This ARPG is the fourth in the Torchlight series by XD Inc. and has recently been updated with new content. A new hero, there's new skills and gear, improvements to things like legendary drops, system overhauls, and battles revamped. With Torchlight dropping its new SS2 expansion, we've been asked to check out the game and make a dedicated video about the experience, which is an ideal sponsor at the right time for us. We're talking about a classic ARPG concept where you grind endless loot through challenging content on your unique hero, facing a variety of planned missions or quests inside tons of dungeons filled with enemies, bosses, and more. The heroes come with their own talents and skills, with gear together, pets, and builds, and this new season claims to be more accessible, lowering the barriers of entry for the new players. So if you like the look of the game, we have a link in the description to go download it for free, and they'll know we sent you, which will help us out. In general, Torchlight's been on my peripherals for ages now, so it's nice to finally try it as a new player. A big thank you to Torchlight and XD Inc. for sponsoring this video then, and letting us have free reign on the content we make. With that said then, what is Torchlight Infinite and the SS2 expansion all about? It's essentially a classic seasonal model of ARPGs, roughly 3-month-long themes with new mechanics and content woven into the original core game. A way for devs to introduce, sure, new things, but also go back and overhaul and improve the original game more and more each time, which is what's happened here. We'll start with the basics of the game, the starting class options, and that new class Iris, which was introduced in the new season. So we start with the character options. There's 5 heroes or classes here, alongside the new character if you've got the season pass. From left to right, there's the classic Berserker, a heavy hitter using massive weapons, be that sword, axes, or hammers, cleaving, cracking, smashing the earth, and so on. The theme here is that his skills amp up his strength, building rage to use on your powerful attacks. Next is the Divine Shot, a straightforward sharpshooter using regular and special ammo to fight. The special bullets provide buffs and support style benefits around the more normal fighting. Then there's the very cool Frost Fire combo, using both ice and fire. The mage style character here focuses mostly on damage, building up fusion energy. She can either freeze enemies or ignite debuff them, with other element options to consider. Apparently in this season they've updated her to have a new hero trait focusing on a flame theme specifically, so it seems they provide new aspects of play for earlier characters alongside, say, introducing new classes like they did here. Next character is Yuga, a very Wukong inspired design here. Using both magic and technology, he makes use of time to essentially clone himself, making illusions to fight, and he also seems to be very mobile, so a faster character concept. Last on these first 5 then is Commander Moto, who is a mechanical summon class. Technology rather than magical, he's summoning and spawning in robots that are going to be dealing the majority of his DPS, while he provides support, buffing them up and overloading them for powerful hits. Lastly, with the expansion though, there's the new hero Iris, who I'm playing, a spirit magus who is also a summoner of sorts, but with an elemental or spirit focus, playing to create buffs to make the summons stronger. The theme here though is to make the spirits grow, which actually changes them physically but also enhances them, adding new skills, literally, alongside how many you can actually summon. If you push them into full bloom, then they'll get access to ultimate attacks, so you want to keep them growing and growing, making them as strong as possible. But now I've had some time to play, let's cover how you create a build and how that all works. So let's quickly just jump in game for a live showcase of what I'm doing with this character and how she works. So obviously we have different builds, as you'd expect in any ARPG. So the summons I've gone for in this version of the build is the Flame Spirits, because they have this kind of AoE fire aura, which I find is really good for clearing as I'm leveling and blasting through the levels. It sort of slops things up really effectively. Because I'm running Blink, they sort of teleport with me, they spread that aura, it just works really well. You can check what skills I have by pressing K on a keyboard, and on the left we have our 5 active slots. So we have my Flame Spirits here, but I can choose different ones. Flame Spirits, Frost Spirits, Thunder Spirits, and then different relevant abilities to the spirits on more summons. These buttons around each ability are kind of enhancements that we can change depending on our purposes, of which, as you can see, there's an absolute pile of them, and that's where the builds kind of come in. What we've just looked at is one individual ability, which is a summon, and just one aspect of sort of a passive enhancement, and all the different options that we're going to get as we level up. Obviously we're able to put more than one in though, since we have so many more options. So right now I've got 2. We're on our way to unlocking the 3rd one, and this is the same with all of your abilities. You have these extra modifiers and all the different stuff that comes with it, and you unlock these as you go. So in my case, I'm running the Flame Spirits. I'm running Elemental Shock, giving my minions extra element damage and causing their attacks to actually cause a element resistance debuff, so they deal more damage damage in that way. The main aspect then of this new hero then is the ability to sort of grow your allies and your summons. Your hero or hunters have this kind of progression system where you can do a challenge to unlock key components of them, such as the core of this class, to unlock growth, to actually make your spirits get stronger and unlock new abilities, right? What's cool about this challenge is that you can do it as soon as you unlock the first one, then you can do the second challenge, which I've already done, which is recommended for 22, and then you can go into the level 31 to maybe get the more powerful passives that will be great, but then that's going to be a real challenge. And then there's more and more and more for higher levels, and there's new abilities and passives, which is certainly going to be an impossible challenge at level 50 while I'm like level 20. But yeah, once you unlock Friends We Are through that, or roughly level 12, this is when nourishment's going to really push those stacks for the spirits, providing that growth, and then it explains what the growth actually does. So as we know, it's stage 1 through 5, enhancing their skills and their output. Their skill area will get bigger and they'll have better movement speed and so on. So the higher the number, the better. So as I've now unlocked that, Nourishment of Life is going to just sort of boost their level. So they're at the beginning level at 100. As soon as I press this, they get an extra 60. While we're fighting, they get more. So as you're fighting and the number's going up and up and up, the longer you fight, the more you stay in a fight, that number gets bigger, they get stronger. Actually, they visually change as well. But they keep this kind of balance by each time you enter a new area, it sort of resets them. Or if you've been out of combat for a while. So you can't just like make them juggernauts, then go into the next area and crush everything instantly. It's kind of building up for all of the levels. Then I've got Dazzling Bloom, which kind of forces them to teleport to me and do an attack. So if I blink over here and then use it, they teleport to me and then they would do an attack if there were enemies. As a very short cooldown. That combined with Blink allows me to avoid a load of stuff, move around the maps really quickly, and then also bring them with me to the target location to smash, say, an elite that I want to focus. So really, I'm buffing them up in all these ways, bringing them somewhere and having them smash, and that's kind of the combo and setup that I've got. Then there's these slots down here which appear to be kind of passives that you unlock, and in the case of me, I've just gone for some sort of passive movement speed, but you can get some damage or defensive options too. In terms of other progression, there's also, say, your talent points, and this is what I've gone for to begin with. There's these 6 main trees, and since this is a summoner class, I went for God of Machines because that makes sense. It literally is tagged Summon and Sentry, so I knew that that's the one that I should go for. As you can see, it increases the damage and minion damage of both me and my hero, which is just logically exactly what I want for a character and build like this. At different level stages, you also get to pick up some sort of passive powerful effect. I've gone for a barrier at level 10, and then there's another one at 20, and at every 10 levels it appears to be more and more. As you can see, unlocks to 21, 45, and so on. There's also pets in a manner of speaking. It's sort of a pact you have with a character that you will unlock. I have this traveling lizard, a flower, and they give me extra element resistance, damage avoidance, and XP protection, which is really nice. If we look at a different one, this gives me max energy shield, mana restoration, and XP bonuses. So they have different purposes, and I guess you pick the one that best suits your playstyle. They can be upgraded in this sort of ring of upgrades. I've just gone for chances to avoid damage so far. When it comes to gearing your character, it's pretty standard fare. We have common items, we have blue rarer ones, we've got the epic purples, and some of the yellow legendaries that have most of the interesting effects. As part of the new season, they say that the legendaries are dropping at a higher rate now, and since I'm a new player, I don't have anything to compare it to, but I do feel like they drop relatively often. I mean, I've got 3 equipped right now. In the case of my playstyle, I'm just looking for things that improve my minion damage, survivability, their general output, and anything that can help me enhance their power. So that's the hero I'm playing and how they work and what I've currently got them set up in terms of build and plan and progression, as well as all the future things that you could do to show that, yeah, there's quite a lot of options. The general playstyle of the game then is what you should expect, an ARPG with a main story that you follow, taking you to different regions and areas where you complete different missions, facing a lot of enemies, elites, and then various bosses at the end of these regions. But what I found in this new season is the season's kind of cleverly, casually woven in to what you would normally be doing. You come across these kind of altars, these big stones, and this is what allows you to interact with the city in the new seasonal mechanic. By progressing the main missions, you find these, you start building your own kind of labyrinth. So yeah, while you're just kind of doing your normal stuff, then you jump into them and suddenly you're doing seasonal content. Once that's done, you continue with the normal main content and you'll bump into more seasonal content further on. It's very subtly done and very uninvolved invasive on the normal gameplay. But let's explain what the actual seasonal content is, what's going on here. It's all to do with the City of Aeterna, where new challenges have been introduced for new rewards. Each time I bump into these kind of green coloured monuments, I can enter and build a new piece of the city. We go in and sort of create a labyrinth where we fight summoned enemies via these candle spawners, and during which we'll face a mini-boss, all within a time limit to get good rewards. Each one of these we find, we're able to do another one, basically taking a new section of the city to put in, and you place it in a grid, trying to take the grid that you have and land it where more of the good items are going to be. Eventually though, you build a sort of full level or labyrinth that connects all the pieces together to then go explore your personally built chunk of the city. Within that, you'll gather firewood to light the candlelight of sacrifice and ultimately face the summoned final boss, which is going to be more challenging based on how many reward spots you've activated beforehand. The harder he is though, the better rewards. Big picture, the city just becomes harder and harder to deal with as you push the city closer to the concept of the infinite version. I think it's pretty well done. It felt very uninvasive on the normal gameplay. By doing the challenge, you also earn a bunch of different things, different and new resources, like for example the new seasonal talents, which creates new builds for the season. To do that, you need to collect these pages. We get these pages at the end of a complete city run. As you can see, we can go in 3 major directions and unlock a lot of new stuff for the seasonal content, or just power ourselves up. Also within the city are new gear items, the soul candles. These can be equipped to provide new skill effects. I start with just 1 slot for 1 candle, but you can clearly see that there's 2 slots you can eventually unlock to run 2 of them. The candles come with 1 to 3 random tiers of affixes, but they can be fused to upgrade them, evolve them, or even mutate them. Basically, by fighting monsters in the city, you get tiers, and then you can spend those tiers to do that. Through that process, you change the candle effects. To get something more ideal for you, or if you have multiple of the same tier 1 affixes, you can evolve them into more powerful versions. The other option is to mutate them, which can be really strong, but apparently it comes with negative impacts. You have to balance the good and the bad for the soul candles, taking on some negatives for the positives that can be worth it. So yeah, I've interacted with all of that stuff in the new seasonal model within my first few hours of play. And that's just some of the new stuff that we can do and what's changed in the season. There's still more to consider if you're a longer term player, like for example they overhauled the crafting system. I've just been using that at the start of new areas or in towns, taking common items and pushing them into epic, creating items with more ideal skills for me for my summon focused build. Other things I've read about are like the revamped Netherrealm battles for better treasure hunting and more. But as a new player, it's all above my experience so far. So with that though, we reached the conclusion of the video. I found the progression and variety of builds to be very interesting. There seems like there's a lot of options to go for, and even for just me at level 20, there was so much to consider. They consistently pile the rewards on regular to give me lots of new skills or mods or talents to consider, and it didn't seem like there was any issue to swap or respec to actually test things out until I found the setup that I ended up really liking. The seasonal model seems to work really smoothly into normal gameplay. Like I said, I just bump into it randomly, engage with it, building my own labyrinth and getting very good rewards when it all came together. In regards to the long-term content, it does seem to me that they're trying to improve things based on feedback. I mean, they literally recently stated that they're going to keep developing the game based on player feedback, and I think that's only a good sign. I might not have experienced the game before this season, so of course I don't know the true depth of the changes, but just one glance at the website, you can see that they've updated a lot of different stuff. So it seems like the game is on the up if they keep doing changes like that. As a new player though, it's just been fun and a different vibe and feel compared to other experience I've had in the genre. If you want to check out the game, then be sure to use the link in the description so they know we sent you, but you can also use our code HERO999 to get extra in-game goodies. It's free to download and play, and well worth a try if you're into the genre at all. For now though, I've been Hollow, you've been you, thank you for watching, see you next time.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.